first one, the very end, Pamela Voorhees has decided that her child's death is unjust, and she has decided to take revenge upon the campers. She has decided to kill all of the counselors. She has succeeded until she is at her final victim.
Did you know that a young boy drowned the year before those 2 others were killed? The counselors weren't paying any attention. They were making love while that young boy drowned. Jason was my son, and today is his birthday.
It's always premarital sex.
It's always premarital sex in Jason Voorhees.
Pre-marriage. Hey, but what happened to Mommy?
So what ends up happening with Mother? She decides
She
decides to have a battle with the woman she has come to save at the camp. Because when she initially
she's not
arrives,
saving her; she's trying to kill her.
When she initially arrives, she seems a savior.
Well, I'm Mrs. Voorhees, an old friend of the Christies.
Yeah, she is like
she's pretending,
projecting that she's here to help.
It is a lie.
She
attempts to kill the final counselor, and a battle ensues. Camp counselor picks up the machete and gives her a baseball swing, sends her entire head to the outfield. Baseball swing destroyed, her entire head is gone. And so that is the final scenes of the movie are her having a nightmare about Jason coming up.
We're calling it a jump screen dream.
Yeah.
3 milligrams Valium. It's all right now, Alice. It's all over. Everything's over.
And then we go into 2. So number 2 is Baghead Jason.
It's not a good look. He only has one eye.
It kind of completely changes the whole dynamic because we thought that Jason is supposed to be dead, and so he's actually alive, which means the whole mom killing everybody because Jason's dead makes it weird for me. I don't know.
It is weird.
Just saying.
It doesn't fit. But anyway.
Well, the idea is that maybe the end of the first one wasn't a dream, and maybe he came back to life somehow supernaturally because of something his mom did, and then after, her death triggered him coming, and then he's like, "Hell!" And now he's killing.
And then
everyone.
in the climax of the movie,
number 2,
he has the kind of shrine set up.
Yes,
with her head and everything. So it's very
and her sweater.
It's very in line with the first movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
She puts a sweater on and pretends to be Jason's mother.
Yeah, which is how she distracts him, and that's how they defeat him. Yeah. And that's probably it's hard to say. That may be my favorite of the Friday movies. It's the second one.
It's good. One thing we haven't talked about, we have to talk about for 1 and 2, is the man who's like, "There's a death curse."
Yeah.
You're going to Camp Blood, ain't you?
God damn it, Ralph, get out of here. Go on, get. Leave people alone.
You'll never come back again.
Oh, shut up, Ralph.
It's got a death curse.
He's like this guy who's lingering around town, and in the first one, this girl is like got a backpack and trying to figure out how to get to the camp.
Yeah.
And Ralph comes out and he's trying to warn her. It's like, "There's a curse on the camp. A death curse.
You're all doomed.
You're all doomed.
You're going to Camp Blood,
and then
you'll never come back."
In the second one, he's going through the woods, and we're getting like a POV shot.
Yeah, he's like leaning over of a tree and coming back. Yeah.
And then there's a barbed wire thing that comes around and wraps around him and kills him.
He's kind of the Luma stuff to do with Friday.
In a way, yeah, because he's like, he knows.
Is that really what you would say?
Yeah, like the old guy that's like crazier than the killer himself. That's like, you have to do something. He's a madman. Number 3.
3.
At the end of 2, he's macheted.
Yeah, he's macheted.
Yeah.
So here's in number 3. What he ends up doing is he goes and basically he survives the end of 2. Like the machete does not kill him, so he survives and goes to a local shop. Kills the owners, steals medical supplies.
Yeah, so there isn't a supernatural aspect.
That's where he's in the morgue.
That's why y'all's. No, that's the next one.
That's the next one. That's 3.
Yeah, that's what we're on.
No, we're on.
Yeah, we're on 3 now.
Okay.
3.
No.
Yeah.
It's 4.
And he gets his mask.
4. He
It's
gets
4 that he revives in the morgue.
Yes.
In the morgue?
Yes.
Okay.
And 3, he gets his mask.
Unexplained how he comes back to life.
So 3, he gets his
In 4.
mask. That's what's important to remember. He steals his mask from a beloved character that is a larger man with an afro. It's
like
also
a effects horror guy.
yes.
He like does.
Yes.
He loves to
Tommy.
trick people. He loves to trick people. He's a prankster. And he's the character that gives Jason his mask.
He does.
Also in that same movie, though, Jason gets a large nick in the top of his mask from when he is banged.
That.
Yes.
Yeah, and they maintain that divot in the helmet in the mask forevermore.
It's until the mask is destroyed.
Even when he brings
he gets a brand new mask, but he puts a divot.
That's a cool continuity thing that they do keep because a lot of the stuff they don't. 3's a good one.
3 was a good one.
4 we get Tommy Jarvis.
Yeah,
that's
a child Tommy Jarvis.
No. Well,
at the end he's like,
that's
die,
3 that he's as a
die.
It's Corey Feldman.
Yeah, that's
Tommy at the end makes himself look like child Jason.
Yeah. It's a similar trick.
And they break the mask
to the second movie.
They break the mask.
He
Then he
shakes
gets a
his
3.
head, and then he says, "Jason," and Jason turns around and is like, "It's me when I was little." And then Tommy figures out and gets the machete.
Yeah.
He hits him in the
the girl helps too.
He hits him in the face a couple of times, and then they finally break his mask, and he gets him in the actual face.
Yes.
And it's deformed and kind of gross.
That movie also has Crispin Glover, by the way.
Who's Crispin Glover?
He's the dad in Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
He's the guy who dances. I don't know if you've ever seen. No. He dances in.
Fuck's sake.
In
Friday the 13th?
Yes, he
does.
dances, and it's awful.
So, Jason is perceived dead, right? So we go into 5, which is...
so 85.
A New Beginning. Tommy Jarvis is older, right?
He's supposed to be 17.
He looks 40, but he's 17.
He's like a teenager.
He's supposed to be 17.
The actor was actually 25.
After the events of the last movie, he's troubled and is sent to like a...
You can say he's a little traumatized.
That's for damn sure.
Like an institution for young.
I called it an institution. They said a trouble youth.
It's a residential care facility.
I think it's a little more than troubled if a man is going to hack a dude to death with an axe.
Okay,
that's an institution.
Okay.
If I'm
you're exposing
just
details.
It's a
You're exposing details
I
that
don't
we've
think
not talked about.
The word institution.
We're talking about the movie
right now.
Bad.
We're talking about the reason the whole story progresses. Okay, so you've got Jarvis going to this.
The very first scene.
It's not the first scene.
The second scene.
It's actually much later.
No, it's not.
What scene? Because he hasn't actually said it.
It's the scene where the guy murders his fellow troubled youth because he's talking to him too much about candy and things like that. And so this troubled youth uses the axe that he's using to chop wood to murder his fellow youth.
Through the course of the movie, earlier in the movie, we see an ambulance man,
an ER,
EMT crew, come and get a victim. At the end of the movie, when they defeat Jason, the killer's mask has been
exposed,
knocked off, and it is actually the ambulance guy.
It's not even Jason.
EMT.
So it's like a copycat thing the whole time.
Jason makes no appearance.
It's the lamest thing.
Makes the movie.
It's the lamest thing ever.
Jason is not.
Jason is not in it.
But the only thing that really keeps it consistent is Tommy
Jarvis.
Just being part of it. But
Tommy
then we
Jarvis
go to the
is
next
a psychopath.
One.
Yeah, Jim.
Go to 6, and that's actually one of my favorites.
Mine too.
Where Tommy decides it's a good idea to dig up Jason's body and try to burn it.
He doesn't feel like he's finally.
He's getting closure. Him and his friend are from it was a mental institute. Yeah, and they go to finally get closure on Jason, and it's fucking. Sorry.
And they end up
I can say fucking
digging him up, and he gets electrocuted and comes back to life. And
2 times.
It's like Frankenstein.
Yeah. This is
the first time. This is the first time that Jason resurrects in the entire series.
So
because Jason has died. Jason is dead.
So now
he gets resurrected
the very first time he's ever
by getting staked by Tommy and shocked by the fucking lightning that comes in 2 times.
Type of Jason.
He lives.
Get out of here! I can't take any more of this.
doesn't die in this one. He's sunk to the bottom of the lake.
Yeah, so
Yep,
Tommy,
just chilling down there with the chains. Just
another thing about this movie that's cool. They the town, it's Crystal Lake.
changed the name.
They changed the name
To Forest Green.
Forest Green.
and there's a new sheriff and all this shit. And but at the end of the movie, Tommy Jarvis gets Jason to follow him out into the lake, and he puts a chain around his neck with
a boulder.
big rod,
Yeah.
A boulder.
and drowns his ass.
Fuck yeah! Although his eyes are just opened at something down there.
And he's just sitting down there hanging
Just
out.
waiting.
And
Just
then-
waiting.
Then we get to 7, which is another one of my favorites of the franchise, where we have like a telekinetic girl
Yeah.
who accidentally kills her father in the beginning of the movie
Very
by
young age.
destroying a deck at Camp Crystal Lake that he was standing on.
She was just upset.
And then, as an adult, she comes back with her therapist and her mom to try to deal with her trauma, and she tries to resurrect her dad, and she accidentally resurrects Jason in the process.
It's not good. It's scary.
And so then people start dying all over again, and then there's this epic battle between Jason and this telekinetic girl.
Yeah, well, and the whole thing is that like before this movie was made, it was when the talk of Freddy versus Jason was happening, and then that fell through, and then they were talking about doing Carrie versus Jason or whatever, and then
really?
Yes, and then they landed on that fell through, and so then they just created their own kind of
So
Carrie
just imagine
thing.
that
Carrie amalgamation version.
I personally did not love this one, mainly because the dad comes back at the end and he looks exactly like he did before he died.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
been
just
like 20
weird.
years
And
almost.
that was the jump. That was the jump scream.
Jump
scream dream.
Yeah.
That was the jump scream dream for the first time they did it on Jason that time.
Yeah, they did it on
Yeah.
Jason.
Jason 8 is when it really starts getting like kind of ridiculous. Like,
Super ridiculous.
Yeah, Jason 8.
he's like finally after all this time, Jason's like, you know what? I'm out of this bitch. I'm sick of I'm sick of Camp
It
Crystal
starts
Lake.
off. Takes Manhattan, and how he ends up in Manhattan is by. Okay, so he's at the bottom of the lake being he's crushed under the pier.
Yes.
So he's at the bottom of the lake, and these
Fornicators.
these two premarital fornicators
In a boat.
show up.
Taking their boat.
They
In
just
Daddy's boat.
they just graduated from Crystal Lake High,
Yeah.
and they drop anchor, and it hooks an electrical line
Yep.
that is running through Crystal Lake.
Frank wakes his bitch ass up.
And they drag it over onto Jason, whose body is sitting at the bottom of the lake. He's electrocuted, and guess what he does? He decides that he's gonna
Hitch a ride.
he's gonna
Gonna hang out on this
decide.
boat
No,
for a minute.
pause. He has to destroy premarital sex
He's
celebrants.
gotta kill them first.
Oh yeah, he
And then
murders
hangs out
them
on the boat.
and then decides to take a quick sail up to the Big Apple.
I personally thought that Jason looked kind of like among the coolest in the series in this movie. So,
Where he sails to the Big Apple.
not that, but just like physically, like I thought that the the outfit and all of that looked like he was kind of like updated, like he had a fresh mask and he kind of looked sleek in the black outfit. I just thought he looked like a little slimmer.
Then we get to 9.
Oh, for fuck's
Jason
sake.
Goes to Hell,
which we actually just watched as a group last night.
We'll probably end up doing a longer video about that one.
Interesting.
This is
probably the greatest movie of all time.
It's another ending. It's another ending.
Probably, definitely a Giannis.
This is where the franchise completely derails entirely.
I mean,
if you thought it hadn't derailed already.
Manhattan.
So how's it start? Give me a start.
All right, it actually starts off, you think it's going to be any other Friday the 13th movie. You've got a girl who's at Camp Crystal Lake. She's in a cabin by herself, stuck in a ride. Jason shows up.
She gets naked.
Runs. Yeah, of course she gets naked, and then Jason shows up. She's running through the woods. And then all of a sudden you realize it's a sting operation, and she's
a sting operation.
Yeah.
And there's all of these law enforcement
FBI.
agents
It's the FBI.
and they just blow Jason to bits.
Apparently, Jason is.
He was number one on the most wanted list.
Yeah, Jason made the number one on the FBI list, and his it literally looks like his blood is trying to escape his body by the way he explodes.
So basically,
like just boom, his body is no longer existing.
but his heart survives and is still beating.
And his head.
And basically, the coroner who's doing the autopsy and all this stuff gets a hard-on for the heart and
He gets
decides
possessed.
to eat it.
Or,
And
yeah.
gets possessed by
Eats
Jason's soul.
He gets possessed
and then
by his
all
soul.
of a sudden, we get on this quest
Eats
where Jason's trying to get reunited with his family to try to get someone from his bloodline
Bro.
so that he can come back to life.
You see the Voorhees house?
This man is
And we start getting the little nods to like every horror movie.
Yeah,
in the
he's
entire
doing
universe.
essence transfer all movie long until at the end, you get like the whole like there's an actual literal slimy demon that comes out of a person and starts chasing people around.
Yeah, they show stuff that like literally. Okay, so for the first time, it's supernatural resurrection, but they show like actual like possession commonly in this movie and things like that make you go, okay, what is going on?
I thought that this was, I had to know this man was in Jason as Jason, because in the whole movie he's killing everybody, possessing other just normal people's bodies.
Yeah,
actual Jason screen time
4 minutes.
That's
Got
it.
a guess? No, you have a guess?
Yes.
2.5 minutes.
I'll say 5 minutes.
5 minutes. 5 minutes, man.
But at the end of this one, we get a nod to Freddy versus Jason. We see Freddy's hand come up and grab his mask.
There's also the subtle nod to we think
the Evil Dead.
What the Evil Dead franchise.
So no, it's been shown.
That's Taylor's.
It's been shown. Yeah, I love the take on this because I love Evil Dead. And the thing that happens is he finds it's Steve. Stephen?
Yeah, that's the...
Stephen finds the Necronomicon in the Voorhees house, and it's theorized that Pamela Voorhees read that over Jason.
Yeah.
And that's what caused Jason to be basically a Deadite. And if you know anything about the Evil Dead series, the Deadites, they don't die. They are evil dead creatures.
Yeah, it's the Evil
and
Dead.
they do not die. Yeah. So that was what they got a subtle nod back to the fact that originally Jason was technically dead, and then his mother went insane, performed this ritual, and then we decided to murder all the camp counselors. So they went to try to explain 1 and 2. They didn't do a good job, but it was still like interesting to see the book, as well as I would argue you get to see the Kadarian dagger, which is what they use in Evil Dead. It's great. Anyway, that's my opinion about it.
It's great.
That's the best thing.
Stabs him in the heart to send his bitch ass to hell.
To hell. They don't show hell.
Looks like the aliens are really
They do show Freddy snatching the mask.
Freddy's glove comes out of the ground, but then
the tease to Freddy versus Jason.
Apparently, I don't know what the studios were doing, but we couldn't get Freddy versus Jason for like 10 years.
Yeah.
So next we get Jason X.
Jason X.
At the beginning of the movie, Jason's held captive. There's like government people, and they're like, we can't figure out how to kill him. He regenerates body parts.
We're just going to freeze him.
We're going
They
to freeze
just
him.
froze him.
Where we end up in Jason X is a space school room shows up because it's like a professor.
It's like a college.
Yeah, it's like a professor and like his students, and so they pick up these frozen bodies from Earth 1 because
there is Earth 2.
Yeah, Earth 1
since Earth 1 doesn't
no
suck
longer
enough.
inhabitable.
Yeah, Earth is no longer habitable. No water, all sand. It sucks. It's like Tatooine, but worse. So apparently, we picked a new planet called Earth 2. And so they originally
We're gonna do it again.
They get Jason and they're like, "This is like a prize specimen." Like
yeah, they find out that it's Jason Voorhees.
We're gonna fuck this planet
And
up
they
too.
decide
Okay,
that
wait.
Jason Voorhees has got regenerative cell recreation that is interesting enough to study.
Earth 2.
He's worth money.
Tell you
But
what.
everybody else is in this movie isn't worth shit. The interesting kills in this movie.
Although I think that one kill, I do think that it's true that the one kill where he freezes her face and then smashes it, that is one of the legendary kills in the whole franchise.
That is one of the
It
most
really is.
like
That one's
It's a shit movie, but that kill in itself
That's
is
a cool
almost
kill.
redeeming of it.
That's
Yeah.
a cool kill.
Chill.
You
She
also
chilled out.
you also get a nod back to premarital sex
With the
holograms.
Sleeping bag.
With the
girl.
sleeping bag
The
girls.
sleeping bag girls, which is not
That
is
happens
harkens
in,
Yeah.
7.
harkens back to 7 where he catches a girl and she hides in her sleeping bag.
And he
And,
smashes.
and Jason's like, all right, well, I'm going to drag you out to this
He
tree
beats
and
her
give you
ass
some
to
domes.
death. I think it's a tree.
Yeah. And
Apparently
so,
in the
Jason
remake,
X is fun.
So Jason X, okay, so what ends up happening is the robot, they train the robot
put him
to
in a-
defeat.
in a simulation.
a Fimbot.
No, that's after they murder Jason once. So what ends up happening is, so Jason is frozen. They resurrect the woman that's involved, and she tells them that it's a bad idea to keep Jason alive. And so Jason shows up, of course, being unfrozen and fucking on them.
Yeah.
And so he murders a bunch of people on the ship. And then
They blow up a whole space station.
they crash into a space station and blow it the fuck up.
So they kill like
A
hundreds of
bunch
thousands
of people. And so what ends up happening is they train their own robot.
Kick his ass.
Fimbot blows up Jason's
Blasts his head
off.
Blows his head off.
Then we
Jason
get
gets rebuilt.
Terminator Jason.
Terminator Jason. He's half robot. He's half Jason.
Right.
He literally is murdering
He's
everybody
more
else.
machine now than
Yeah.
man.
So like at the end of the movie, they blow up the ship that Jason's on. He comes flying out of the ship towards the ship they're on.
Yeah.
And the only reason they're saved is because the commander decides that he's going to sacrifice himself and shove Jason into orbit of Earth 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he drops to the bottom of Earth 2, melting.
Where
and
there's a couple sitting at a lake.
Yeah, premarital sex again, so Jason's angry.
All right, so
on.
now next we have Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, we do. And so he resurrects because Freddy brings him
Freddy
back.
brings him back in Freddy versus Jason.
And all in all, it's another thing. Like I saw that the time with Jason and Freddy on the screen is pretty low in the movie.
It's only about
Like the
9,
fight
10
scenes,
minutes.
they said it was like, I think it
10
was
minutes
13, 14 minutes.
I thought it was like 9 minutes with the first one, like 6
Well,
or 7
a lot of
for
those.
that.
That's not too bad.
I don't think, no, I actually think the combat scenes in that movie are pretty good between the two. Maybe there's a lot of bullshit, shenanigans like always, but
Unfortunately,
I
we see
responded.
more crossovers.
I think it was cool.
Franchises.
Yeah.
Even in the like the
We
original,
want to see,
the original Halloween movie. I think Michael Myers was on the screen for 9 minutes.
yeah.
So it's you know,
It's kind of, and I mean, this is way off, but Heath Ledger in Dark Knight.
it's not. Yeah,
It's a low count of time. Side note about Freddy versus Jason. Y'all remember when Freddy was like, I don't remember exactly what happened, but he turned into like this like worm creature during the movie at some point, and he was like this like. He was hanging out with some stoners or something, and he like turned into this like.
I don't remember.
Okay.
yeah.
I don't remember that.
So neither of them died. Like they, it looks like Jason kind of wins, and they get taken down to the
blown
bottom
up
of the lake.
and thrown into Crystal Lake, and their body parts are all thrown into Crystal Lake.
Freddy's
and then,
head is cut off.
and then the next day, Jason comes walking out of the lake,
Holding
Yeah.
Freddy's head.
holding Freddy's head, and he looks at the camera and winks.
Yeah.
So
it's
nobody really died. It was a wash.
And that's basically the end.
That
of
is
That's the end of the canon,
initial.
if you would call it that, and then we have to reboot.
Which is 2009. And we've literally had nothing since.
And it actually wasn't bad. The reboot, I thought,
pretty
was okay.
Did any of y'all ever play the more recent-ish Friday the 13th video game?
Yeah, it was fun.
I love that game. Did you ever play it?
I've watched YouTube videos.
I mostly
It's so
did it
fun.
as,
I wanna play it.
one of the counselors or whatever, like trying to get away from Jason.
I want to be Jason. I don't want to kill.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
it's kind of. I gotta be honest. I played a good bit with some friends, and when you're trying to stay away from Jason, it gets intense and kind of scary.
You get kind
When
of
you're,
like, on
oh
the edge
yeah,
of it.
when you're running from his ass, because he killed you. If he finds you, you're dead.
No, yeah.
You can get 3 like things that you can use on him and get away. But if you're trying to get the car to escape, you have to get keys, gas, and a battery. And you have to be carrying
battery?
gas. Yeah, to load the car, you have to get gas, keys, and a battery to get in the car to try to escape. It's tough.
Yeah.
And as you have to be carrying those as the 3 items that you have instead of a weapon, you would have to choose to be carrying gas or the
Like, make
keys.
yourself
So you have to.
Oh.
It's intense, dude. I would love for us to play it, man. It's so fun.
We do a live stream.
That would be really fun.
And in like closing thoughts, Friday 13th is a fun series if you just want some popcorn and watch a bunch of dumbasses get butchered.
Don't show it to your children.
Because really, that's really what it comes down to. Like after the first movie, maybe the first couple movies, all the characters are just write-off, cardboard cutout.
Fodder.
Well, I would say that I don't even think if you're trying to see Jason, you don't even have to see to understand the whole thing. You have to see the first one, but if you're really trying to see Jason, you're not going to see him in the first one. Yeah. You see Baghead Jason in the second one. So really, the third one is when you start seeing the actual Jason that you think of as Friday the 13th. You're going to want to see. You really start at hockey mask Jason really starts at 3.
Really, 4 and 6 are
6 are my favorite. 6 is my favorite.
ones.
5 doesn't have Jason, so it's an interesting movie, but
the way I look at it, like 6 is my favorite post resurrection Jason.
It's the first actual resurrection.
That's when he is actually
Before-
first resurrected.
Before that, it's hard to say. Like I really like 4 a lot though. That's like with Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
And then 2, I think 2 is always.
Well,
my
okay,
favorite.
so my problem with 4 is, so he's a makeup expert, and he walks downstairs, and honestly, maybe he could fool Jason, but if I saw 2 and then 4, I'd be really disappointed that Jason fell for the same shit of a character looking similar to something he
Well, I think Jason is like a mentally challenged.
Yeah, I don't think he's particularly bright. He's
Yeah, he's
more
not like a fucking
it's like an
normal
insect,
person.
more
Like
or less.
the makeup they made on the character
He's
is
a monster.
as a child, as a kid, when he drowned in the lake.
He's not a normal
He's
brain
meant to
working
be
guy.
deformed. And then Jason's face in the second movie.
He figures out possession, but his brain is broken.
He didn't figure out.
That's a completely separate
That was
canonized
demons.
moment. Obviously, it's a super chaotic franchise.
All right,
It's
look.
it's all over the place.
Let's wrap
What's
it up.
Taylor? What would you say 6 is your favorite?
Probably 6 would be my favorite, just because the uniqueness and the variety of kills. He goes on an actual spree in that movie. Jason kills over 200 people in the actual series, so I think he gets a large amount in 6 itself.
What about you?
I think the one I remember that I would want to watch the most is probably Manhattan. So 8, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
shit, that is such a terrible movie.
I mean, but
Skull
they're all terrible. Literally, there is not. So you can't tell me that's terrible. Literally, every single one of these movies are dog shit.
I want you to enjoy whichever
Everyone.
one you enjoy.
Every one of these movies are horrible.
I just know that I rewatched it recently and it was.
I would watch Child's
Which
Play
was
over
my
any of
favorite?
these.
Your choice.
My favorite is part 2.
2.
That's the noble one. Yeah.
So, wait. Not Jason in the mask, Jason in the pillowcase.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a question for you guys. Did y'all ever play?
No, he's got to do his first.
Oh, sorry.
My favorite is probably also 6. I think
It's such a good
I
one.
always liked it a lot, but I
He
also
lives.
really.
It's a great one.
I also really love 7. I like the telekinetic girl and the idea of thinking of it as possibly being Carrie.
Yeah.
And the whole story being different of like, oh, Carrie is like coming here to get some relief from her trauma or something and then gets involved with Jason.
I'm glad they
That's
did.
cool.
I'm glad they did.
I'm glad they didn't do it, but it's cool to think
They
about.
did. That's what that
And
is.
I actually really enjoy
It is.
but I really enjoy 7. So 6 and 7 are my favorites, though. Though I'll always love 1. I love the first time I ever watched it and experienced the twist of it being the mom. It was awesome. The franchise is fun if you don't take it too seriously.
if you want a drinking game, like every time Jason kills somebody, take a
You would be
drink.
wasted.
And there are lots of kills.
Or you go premarital. Every time Jason gets angry at premarital
Jason-
people, he literally resurrects an
You want
ex.
to go
Look,
premarital?
in X, he does a full Undertaker. He's laying down, and then two people are
Premarital
fucking. He's like,
sex is happening, and he shows
please
up like,
insert Undertaker gif.
Go watch one of these. Some are good, a lot are questionable in quality.
Some are really bad.
Some of it's fun to watch it.
Can be fun.
Yeah, it's fun even if it's not necessarily a great movie. It's still going to be fun.
So go check one out. This is Retro Cheese.
Retro Cheese.
Like, comment, subscribe. Check us out on Patreon. Patreon.com/RetroCheese.
Happy Halloween!
Friday the 13th.
all right through his chest.
I don't know.
His heart out the
I
back.
guess-
Like the Terminator.
I'll go old school. I'll say Kevin Bacon.
That's my favorite one too.
Kevin Bacon's a good
That's the one I kept saying to Taylor I love.
That's the
Number one, you have to kill the mother.
I was gonna say, The Kill of the Mother is probably my favorite.
Fucking baseball swing. Yeah.
The lawn chair is hard to beat
Yeah,
too.
yeah. The sheriff out in the woods getting folded up is a
Also,
murder.